We're seeing Central Park.
Yes, that's Central Park, and we're looking up north.
Nou, het kan natuurlijk 100 meter die kant op zijn geweest. Of misschien 50 meter die kant op. Maar dit was de plek. 400 jaar geleden zetten Hollanders hier voor het eerst voet aan wal. En wat later stichtten ze een kleine kolonie. De stad die we nu kennen als New York. Een stuk land van onschatbare waarde, al kon niemand dat nog voorzien. De komende weken gaan we de vroege geschiedenis van de stad ontdekken en zullen we onderzoeken welke lijnen we kunnen trekken van dat Hollandse verleden naar het New York van nu.
Because the American dream is about limitless possibilities.
Al 4 eeuwen lang trekken mensen vanuit Europa en andere werelddelen naar deze stad, naar dit land, op zoek naar hun Amerikaanse droom. Take care.
Take care now, hè.
Maar wat zochten ze nu precies, die 17e eeuwse gelukzoekers, doorzetters en overlevers en al die mensen na hen? Wat behelst die droom? Wat heeft deze stad ermee te maken? En hoe laat je, eenmaal hier aangekomen, die droom ook daadwerkelijk uitkomen? Dit is Ellis Island. Iedere immigrant die uit Europa kwam, moest hier langs. De immigration officer. Hier werd bepaald of je binnen mocht of dat je terug werd gestuurd. De hoop op een nieuw leven moest door deze smalle sluis geperst. En op zo'n dag konden wel 5000 mensen hier op elkaar gepakt zitten. Vervuild, vermoeid na een lange reis. En werd je dan toegelaten, mocht je binnen, dan was je opgelucht, dan kon je aan een nieuwe toekomst beginnen hier in Amerika.
Even as we stand here, just think about all the immigrants that were processed on Ellis Island. For 98% of these immigrants, they achieved their dream and their goal of coming into the United States. For them, Ellis Island was an island of hope.
Maar werd je de toegang geweigerd, dan moest je rechtsomkeerd maken. Er werden hier echt families van elkaar gescheiden. Dan was Ellis Island het Island of Tears, het eiland van de tranen. Daar ligt Manhattan. Dichtbij, maar ook erg ver weg. Ellis Island was niet al die eeuwen lang de toegangspoort van de nieuwe wereld. Maar deze plek is wel altijd de voordeur geweest van dit oneindige land dat je kon invullen met je dromen. We gaan terug naar het allereerste begin. Ver voordat Amerika Amerika werd en New York New York. 400 jaar geleden ontstond er op deze plek namelijk een kleine samenleving. De Hollanders die het in bezit hadden noemden het hier Nieuw Amsterdam. How did that New Amsterdam city start? What is the origin?
Well, the origins, strangely enough, are with an Englishman, Henry Hudson, who sailed in his life as a sailor. He had many voyages of exploration on behalf of the English.
Yeah.
But for reasons that we don't know, the English decided in 1609, in what would become his most historic voyage, they decided that not to back him. The Dutch ambassador to London heard about this, immediately said, come to Amsterdam, we'll support you.
We'll make a deal, yeah.
So he did that, And what Hudson was trying to do was to find a shortcut to Asia, to the riches of Asia. That was his goal.
Here we see Hendrik Hudson.
Yes and no. This is the image that's popularly associated with him. We don't know how far back this image goes. Was this made during his lifetime? Is it someone else? We don't know. He went across the Atlantic on the theory that the people thought the world was about 1/3 smaller than it actually is. Yeah. Therefore, the part of the world that they didn't know about, sort of the western half of the United States and part of the Pacific Ocean, they just assumed didn't exist.
Right.
So the idea was North America was this slender landmass, and that there must be a channel through it. And you would go through that channel, and instead of getting to, say, Ohio, you would reach the Sea of Japan.
Right.
That was the idea. And when they come into New York Harbor, you feel a little bit what it felt like to enter this great cathedral of a harbor with the trees and with the cliffs on one side. And they describe the river then as a mile broad and full of fish.
Hier moet het zijn geweest. Dit is de plek waar Henry Hudson en zijn mannen voor het eerst aan land kwamen. Dat kan natuurlijk 100 meter die kant op zijn geweest. Of misschien 50 meter die kant op. Maar dit was de plek. Ik heb hier bij me het scheepsjournaal van Robert Juet, de bootsman van de halve maan. En die schrijft: de baai is bij elke wind een goede haven. 'S Nachts waaide het uit de noordwest en ons anker ging door. En wij dreven op de wal. En de maats zagen mannen, vrouwen en kinderen die hun tabak aanboden. Ze gingen boswaarts en vonden bessen die zoet waren en goed van smaak. Ook zagen zij tal van grote, zware eiken. Het is moeilijk om je een voorstelling te maken hoe het landschap er toen uitzag. Kijk, het is nu een urbane, grauwe, afgevlakte stadsjungle. Maar toen was het een bebost, heuvelachtig, ruig gebied. Manahatta betekent ook heuvelachtig land. Misschien als we onze ogen sluiten, het geluid wegfilteren, dat het toch nog wel lukt om ons een voorstelling te maken van hoe het er toen uitzag, 400 jaar geleden. Look at this.
And what have we?
We have here Henry Hudson discovering Manhattan.
September 11th, and they have the date there too. It was actually September 11th. And probably when they made these doors, they were not aware of the significance of that day.
He doesn't look too disappointed.
And in what he's finding, no. Well, I think maybe the sculptor thought that Hudson ought to have been pleased with what he found. Hudson, however, had different things in mind, so I think he just looked at this as a big obstacle.
Yeah.
This meaning North America.
Yeah. But so, here he looks like a conqueror.
Yeah.
Very pleased with himself.
I think so. His pose, he's striking a royal, sort of aristocratic pose. Hudson remains, I think, a figure of the past. Meanwhile, though, as soon as his records were transferred, other people acted on it. They said there's
potential.
There's animal pelts, the size of the land, the trees, the fecundity of nature.
Yeah.
And they immediately, all this activity began on the Amsterdam waterfront as people began all sorts of freelance enterprises to explore and to exploit this new land.
And how did they go about? What did they do after that?
Well, it was the beginning of the Golden Age. Life was relatively good, and it was difficult to get settlers.
Right.
However, the Dutch Republic was a land of immigrants, people from other parts of the world who tended to start at the bottom rungs of society, particularly from the southern provinces. And so most of the first settlers were Walloons. They were the ones who said, yeah, well, let's try that. So in my book, I focus on, particularly on a young couple Joris Rapalje and Catalina Trico. They had 11 children. Their children had children, and due to the magic of multiplication, their descendants now apparently number at more than 1 million. So you might say they were sort of the Adam and Eve of this colony.
Our weather's just starting to be nice now. Just,
In New York too,
beginning.
all the trees started blossoming
Yeah,
in 1 or 2 days. So, this is your family graveyard?
yes. What's interesting to me is that some of the newer stones were made of the kind of material that disintegrates and you can't read them. But when you go to the old ones,
They chose a better type of stone.
it was a brown stone. See, here we are. This is Joachimstad.
Ja,
And
Joachimstad.
1654,
En hier
died in 1712. Now here's
Barendstad.
one died born, Barend. I have a brother, Barend.
Ja,
And he was born in
1680.
1680. For the main part, they had long lives. So the first thoughts in the area was a Major Abraham. And he arrived here in 1617. And he was a surgeon and a fur trader. In 1664, he went back home. And he went back home to Holland for about 10 years. Then he came back and he became very prominent in politics in Albany and that kind of thing. And that was the earliest. I believe I'm the 10th generation, but I got to sort that out. I'm not that.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting,
And they
actually.
chose a very interesting spot, high up.
Yeah, I think it's about 20 feet above river level. This house was built by my Dutch ancestors. It's definitely the oldest house in the area. There isn't any place that I know of that are still in existence, you know. And because I'm, part of the lineage,
Yeah.
I'm very proud of it, So.
But is there something in the Dutch culture that you identify with?
Oh, certainly. We're all good looking, thrifty. I don't know. That sounds like almost too much self-pride for me,
Maybe that is
I
Dutch.
think hard-working for the main part, very industrious. The way you get ahead is by getting your hands into things and your mind into things and doing them, not relying on someone else to do it for you, And that's what the family here has done. Just every improvement you see here, we've done by ourselves. And I believe that's been true over the generations because the family was never wealthy. That's the only way you could survive, And,
So there's the sense of the pioneer.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, this is my brother Barry. He's very old, 205 years old. First generation Dutch.
In 1626 is de kolonie Nieuw Nederland eigenlijk een stelsel van nederzettingjes langs de rivier. Maar ze hebben een hoofdkwartier. Een plek waar ze hun uitvalsbasis hebben, waar hun schepen aankomen, waar de eerste gebouwen staan. Dat is het eiland wat hier ligt, Governor's Island. Dat heette toen Noteneiland, omdat het helemaal vol stond met walnotenbomen. Maar ja, er zijn geen rivieren, er is eigenlijk veel te weinig land, je kunt er niet zoveel mee. En om die kolonie dus uit te breiden hadden ze meer nodig. Dan lag er hier een eiland in de buurt wat vlakke gronden had om landbouw te beoefenen. Er was zoet water, er waren meertjes, rivieren. Het was makkelijk te verdedigen op de zuidpunt. En het was niet alleen een dicht bos vol met wild, het was vooral een plek waar je heel makkelijk kon komen vanuit het noorden. Dat was belangrijk omdat de pelshandel vereiste dat die indianen uit de bergen met hun pelzen hier terechtkwamen.
Dit is Inwood Hill Park, noordelijkste puntje van Manhattan.
En zoals we dit hier nou zien, lijkt dat een beetje op wat de kolonisten aantroffen op Manhattan?
Nou, een beetje natuurlijk wel, waar het om de rotsen gaat. Dus nee, wat dat betreft krijg je hier wel een idee.
Wat waren de omstandigheden waaronder die kolonisten leefden, die eerste pioniers?
Ja, dat was heel zwaar, want je komt hier en je moet alles opbouwen, maar dan ook echt alles. Ze beginnen dus ook met het bouwen van molens om hout te zagen. Maar ja, voordat je dat gedaan hebt, moet je eerst wel ergens in wonen. En dat is de reden dat de eerste woningen, die waarvan we het weten, dat zijn ook eigenlijk gewoon kuilwoningen. Dat zijn in de grond gegraven gaten die overdekt worden met basten en berken, bladeren en weet ik veel wat allemaal. En dat worden later de kelders van de woningen die er opgebouwd worden.
Ik heb hier een oude kaart waar de eerste nederzettingen op getekend zijn. Wat is dat precies voor kaart?
De Manhattankaart uit 1639. Wat je hier heel goed kan zien is het fort,
Ja?
de 2 windmolens en alle woningen die er dan zijn. Dit is 1639, er zijn al 1000 kolonisten, misschien nog iets minder.
En die vierkantjes?
Nou, waarschijnlijk zijn dat de kuilwoningen die genoemd worden in de vroege documenten. Als je er met een aantal mensen zit, wie krijgt als eerste een huis? En zo'n molen bouwen is ook niet makkelijk, want het hout voor de molen moest handgezaagd worden. Dus je bent wel even bezig voordat je... En als je in een verkeerd seizoen aankomt, dan duurt het al helemaal lang. Dan moet je echt overwinteren in zo'n kuil. Eigenlijk moet je het vergelijken met naar de maan gaan. Je moet bijna alles meebrengen. En wat je daar zelf kan doen, is maar heel weinig. Je bouwt niet zo even een kolonie op.
Uiteindelijk zou Peter Minuit in 1626 in onderhandeling gaan met een plaatselijke groep indianen, de Lenapes-stam, over de aankoop van het hele eiland Manhattan. Het lukte. De aankoopsprijs was wat gereedschap, pannen en sieraden ter waarde van ongeveer 60 gulden. En hier is die deal beklonken. Bij deze rots, Charakapoch Rock. Tenminste, dat staat op deze plaketten. Maar ze hebben een slag om de arm gehouden. Het begint met according to legend. Hoe weten we eigenlijk van die transactie? En wat is krankzinniger? De aankoop of de verkoop? Het Nationaal Archief, wat wordt hier precies bewaard?
Nou, hier worden archieven bewaard, van nationaal belang kan je zeggen, overheid. Maar ook bijvoorbeeld van de VOC of de West-Indische Compagnie, de WIC. Voorzichtig uitpakken.
Nou, het wordt wel spannend met al die bescherming.
Ja, dat is ook heel belangrijk. Dit is de brief.
En
waar
niet
het nu om
zomaar een
gaat.
brief.
Zeker niet.
Vertel.
Nou, Pieter Schagen schrijft de brief. Hij was bestuurder van de Staten-Generaal. En hij schrijft aan zijn collega's in Den Haag dat er een schip aangekomen is in Amsterdam met een enorme cargolijst. Hij vertelt ook dat dit schip dus uit Nieuw-Nederland is gekomen. Dat ons volk daar kloek en tevredig leven. Hare vrouwen hebben ook kinderen al daar gebaard. Hebben het eiland Manhattan van de Weelden gekocht voor de waarde van 60 gulden. Die 60 gulden was in die tijd ook niet vreselijk veel. Als je kijkt naar de lijst van al die bonte vellen en bevervellen, dat was zeker 45.000 waard.
Dat is 60 gulden, dat is niet heel erg veel geld.
Dat is niet heel erg veel geld, nee. Er gaat ook nog een...
Voor een 11 morgen land. Want dan moet je hier in Nederland denk ik niet dat je dat kon kopen.
Nou,
11 morgen land voor 60 gulden.
Het is het eiland Manhattan. Dat is natuurlijk een enorme
daar.
grond. Ja, daar ja.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Dirk.
Victoria. Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Wow, quite an entrance.
Yes, yes, very magnificent. Follow me, please. Welcome to 502 Park Avenue. This is a pre-war building.
The view is stunning.
The view is beautiful.
The city feels like you own it. This is really the
It
top,
is,
top
it is,
spot.
yes.
Yeah. And what would they have to pay?
For this?
to be able to live
Well, we're
in it?
asking 51 million right now.
Even in this economy?
It's still holding its value.
It's still holding its value,
Yes.
but is
We've
it
seen
harder
it
to
drop.
sell?
I think it's not as fashionable to come look at this as it was before, but
Fashionable to come look at it.
because people feel guilty right now, you know, to drive the expensive car, to buy the expensive shoes, to buy the expensive bag. Let me show you the exterior.
oh, the exterior.
Which I think is the prize of this apartment. To have a terrace, especially one that faces Central Park, is very rare.
We're seeing Central Park.
Yes, that's Central Park, and we're looking up north. You see all the way to Harlem from here. It's beautiful. But, you know, expensive apartments like these trophies are not doing that well.
So you would have to sell it for less,
You know,
Well,
this apartment is unique. The owner is okay, and he could wait this market out.
what do you mean by okay?
Meaning that the owner here is Mr. Trump, and Mr. Trump is not in a hurry to sell this. The bathroom is extraordinary, and I'll show it to you. And it's the size, this is the size of at least a two-bedroom apartment in New York City.
Yeah, I was going to say this is enough.
You have closets here, a jacuzzi, and of course, look at this outdoor space.
Oh, this is another terrace.
Another terrace right off your bath. Isn't it spectacular?
Doing your morning ablutions, you can look at this wonderful view. It's crazy. It's like being outdoors, but then in the city.
Right. Now this gorgeous view.
Being able to afford an apartment like this, that must be the dream come true, the American dream come true.
I definitely think so. Yeah, I'm a little girl from Russia who came here when I was 6 years old, lived in Brooklyn, and all of a sudden I find myself in the middle of the city with a $51 million listing. So yes, it's definitely a dream come true. For me to be able to see this is a dream come true.
Yeah, but you really feel a part of that American dream in your own life too.
In my own life, definitely.
But being a successful broker is more than just talking to the clients. Your life has to look like a success too.
Well, you know, what is a successful real estate broker if they don't invest in their own inventory? Success attracts success because people see you as an example. You can't tell people to do something if you yourself are not doing it. If you yourself live in a beautiful home, you want your customer to live in a beautiful home, and vice versa. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to go. There's a customer here to see the apartment.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Nice to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It's been
Thank you.
dreamlike. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So welcome to the Grand Ballroom. That's what I like to call it, but this would be your living space. It is really, really stunning. The ceiling height, the feeling of openness here. You know, every time I'm here, I feel like we could dance in a ballroom. You have Madison Avenue with all the boutiques.
Okay.
This is a very dangerous location for those of us who like to shop.
Yes, it is. I think this is a beautiful apartment, and I would like my parents to buy this for me.
It's a very smart decision.
It's a special place.
It truly is.
$50 miljoen voor een appartement. 60 gulden voor het hele eiland. Dat lijkt een enorm prijsverschil in 400 jaar. Maar op een bepaalde manier is er ook weer niet zoveel veranderd. Wat zegt de makelaar? Je koopt de plek. Locatie, locatie, locatie. Dat is precies waarom die kolonisten ooit Manhattan wilden kopen. Het is een perfecte plek. En de vraag is natuurlijk, wat waren die Indianen aan het denken toen ze dat eiland verkochten?
He doesn't look very happy, the Dutch guy. The
Dutch
Indian
guy.
looks okay.
Yeah, he's kind of grinning almost.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. The
Grinning.
Dutch guy is kind of saying, "Why am I doing this? I
Yeah.
don't think I feel particularly comfortable about this."
Yeah. The Indian thinks it's a good deal.
I guess so. Yeah.
And this what they're exchanging?
I think it's wampum. It's
Wampum,
beads.
yeah.
You know, they developed it as a trade, as a vehicle of commerce. According to evidence, the Indians had never really used it that way, and the Dutch sort of got them. It's sort of like they brought them into capitalism by
You
using
have money
the,
too.
Yeah. We'll make this thing worth something. Although, of course, mainly what they wanted to do was deal with beavers. Beavers were a currency. The real point is that for the Indians, it was more in the nature of a defensive alliance that you were agreeing to enter. But 10 years later, 20 years later, you see letters in which the Dutch are annoyed that the Indians are still around. And sometimes the Indian chief comes through with a large number of people, his retinue,
Right.
and they feel that they have the right to sleep in the man's house, to drink his brandy. And so
Oh,
after
boy.
years go
Yeah,
by,
yeah,
this
yeah.
guy's getting really annoyed, and he's saying, you know, this is just ridiculous. So the Indian idea of property transfer was not the European idea.
Oh no, they're gonna pull up all the pieces by hand.
Especially to climb them.
So you were the guys who were building the skyscrapers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems pretty scary work.
Oh, sometimes people think it's scary, but if you just look to where you're actually working and you don't look all the way down, it's not that bad.
I was told that a lot of iron workers are actually Native Americans.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys from back home there that they come to New York.
He's my brother. I got two other brothers in the business. My father was an iron worker. Our grandfather, both grandfathers. We've been in the area for a few hundred years.
Which tribe are you from?
We're Mohawks. It's a reservation right near Montreal. We stay in Brooklyn. We have a small apartment. We go home to our families every weekend.
Can you describe your tribe?
We're a part of the Iroquois Confederacy. We're the gatekeepers of the Eastern Door. So we got that part of the section of our territory covered.
Is it also important that your fathers and their fathers did the same job? Is there also a sort of pride involved here, or what?
For me there was. You know, when I first came here, I didn't want to let them down. The whole reservation comes here, and everyone knows the reputation of, you know, men from home. So when you say you're from Ganawage and you're a Mohawk, people expect you to, you know, to be working hard and to keep on going faster and walking higher, and you use that as your sense of pride. You never got to work on these bridges? Most of the area that Mohawks took care of was from Canada all the way through New York. How we lived was different from Europeans that came over. If you came over, I'm sure you farmed an area, you stayed there, and you claimed it as yours. Whereas we came in an area, you know, you hunted, you fished. When it was time to move, you left it. So it's, you know, the story of them buying Manhattan is, you know, it could be all taken in a perspective. You can never own the land, but as growing up now and in the modern times, you know, you buy land, you purchase it, you think you own it. But in the long run, the earth was here a lot longer before we were. So do you really own it? Do you control it? The earth controls you. End of another day. Yeah, these are some of the pictures we keep around. You know, every job you go on, you take a few snapshots and see that when you climb up, you have nothing on. You just, it's you and the steel. And this is an older one. This is my Uncle Al here and my Uncle Norbert here. Like just the bridge over there, my father worked on the Verrazano Bridge. So we have a view of the Verrazano Bridge where my father was.
Are you proud when you see that bridge?
Sure. My family has a part in every part of the city as you go. And who can say that, you know, besides iron workers and Mohawk iron workers for the past 100 years.
De kolonie Nieuw-Nederland was natuurlijk veel groter dan alleen het eiland Manhattan. Het was een immens gebied dat door de Hollanders was geclaimd. Henry Hudson reisde er met zijn schip de halve maan als eerste doorheen, honderden kilometers noordwaarts. Uiteindelijk kwam hij er tot zijn grote teleurstelling achter dat deze brede, diepe rivier niet de doorgang naar de rijkdom van het oosten was. Maar deze rivier die nu zijn naam draagt, werd uiteindelijk wel de ruggengraat van Nieuw-Nederland. Want langs de oevers van de rivier zouden een aantal kleine nederzettingen verrijzen. En waarvan sommigen het niet gered hebben en anderen wel. Beverwijk, het stadje Beverwijk, heeft het wel gered. Daar ligt het. Het is Albany, de hoofdstad van de staat New York. En daar is het New Netherlands Instituut gevestigd. Onder leiding van Charles Gehring worden daar al 35 jaar duizenden documenten uit de Nederlandse tijd vertaald. What makes it still so fascinating for you, all the details about New Netherlands?
Because so few people know about it. It's been relegated to the back burner of history for years, and now we're bringing it out to the front, and people are fascinated by it.
So it's a feeling of being a pioneer in historical...
A pioneer in a way, yes.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, this is a map of New Nederland. It does show the coastline where the Dutch had been trading for years, but it shows in detail the river systems, which is very important because the Dutch, as you know, live on water.
Yeah, they navigate.
They take advantage of water no matter where they are, and that's exactly what they were doing here.
And what kind of people do end up living there?
Well, many of them were farmers, and they just wanted to be left alone. Many tradesmen come over, for example, blacksmiths, hoopers, wheelwrights, merchants who become pirates. They're here to make a new life for themselves.
It seems like most everyone here was a fairly colorful figure. You could pick almost any of them and they become sort of a microcosm of the whole. Grietje Reiniers, for example, was the first prostitute of New Amsterdam. Came from Amsterdam with one of the early directors of the colony, set up shop. And one of her tricks was to measure her customers on a broomstick. Another person who appears a lot in it is a man named Anthony van Sale, who was a half Moroccan, half Dutch pirate, known in the records as the Turk. And he appears a lot. He's in fights, he's drunk, he's stealing, and almost inevitably, you would think, the two meet and they marry. And even more unlikely, they prosper, they become property owners, and you might say that this is a very early instance of someone achieving the American dream.
Benny, how are you? How's everything? Good? Chef, what's the special tonight? Did you create the special or not yet? Yes. Last night, how everything went after I left, Benny? Everything went okay?
Everything was excellent.
Business was fine, guys? Any complaints? Anything I should hear?
No complaints.
You sure now?
100%.
Because, you know, my customer, they love me, they call me. Last night, I had only compliments. I'm sure you're doing 100%, but give that 10% extra. Give that 10% because we are here to please the customer and to make sure one day, guys, I want my chef to have his own restaurant, my manager, my waiter, because believe it or not, I start as a dishwasher. So let's not forget, if you work hard, it pays. The end will pay off. This is for you guys, 208 Ninos Positano. I mean, Ninos 208.
Thank you.
What is it?
Payroll. That's a payroll. That's a paycheck for them. We pay once a week. Thank you, huh?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Everybody
Definitely.
has a good time. Benny, good luck, huh?
Thank you.
Hello, that's him probably. Yeah, okay, so how soon you're going to be here? Okay, bye. Thank you. You come here. I remember coming from Albania, and the Kennedy Airport, I had only $5 in my pocket. And that big American dream. When I was a dishwasher, I was earning $150 a week. I was spending $10 to $15 a week. I was saving everything. So I was working very, very hard and smart and trying to steal the job, to learn the job, and to make the salads. I was asking Salman how much he's making. I was making $150. The Salman was making $250. $100 a week, it's a lot of money. It's $10,000 at the end of the year. So I was pushing myself to learn faster, so I become a salesman. So I was making $250. Then I was talking to the pasta cooker who makes the pasta. How much you making? He said, $450. I said, oh my God, $450. I said, you kidding me? I'm not going to stay as a salesman. And took 14 years before I was able to put the money together, and then I took over existing restaurant and opened the doors. Good evening. Hi, how are you? Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's not going to be that long, maybe 50, 20 minutes. So go around and then pull over double park. Hey, Nick. How are you? Good to see you. How you doing? I see we have a party tonight of 24 people. This is an extremely important customer, guys. I need you to be real ready. It's an important customer, which is going to send a lot of people, and therefore we have to be ready. So don't let me down, guys. So you're getting paid more than anybody else in any restaurant. Don't ask for more money because the economy is still down, okay, guys? Smile. So, well, good luck, guys. I got to run to my other restaurant. Okay. Okay. When I opened 1991, I become pretty much very, very quick successful. Then after that, every 2 years almost, I opened a restaurant. Everything was going great until I met this guy in the stock market, and I was looking to buy the property. He goes, no, in stock market, I can guarantee you I can get you 30 to 40% return. I said, of course I'm gonna go there. This guy was recommended. And I sent them $500,000 to start. Then every year I was sending $500,000. I was sleeping when I lost everything. I had only left my chairs, tables, and nothing else. Yeah, just stay on the car, please. Thank you. How you doing? Smile. Hey, Johnny. What's up? Hi. What's up? Good. How are you? Good. Everything good? Good. Yeah. Let's go inside. Let's see what we have.
When you had nothing and only bills, how could you recover?
Working hard and going back to basic, what I know best. What I know best is serving customers, doing the restaurant business.
So, in a sense, you fulfilled your American dream twice.
I fulfilled it twice, you can say it, yes, because I came and I became successful and then lost everything and coming back stronger than ever.
And how much do you make now a year with these 7 restaurants?
Depends between, I would say, 250,000 to 600,000 a year.
Per restaurant?
Per restaurant, right, profit. That's...
You profit?
Yes.
Well, that's nice.
That's very nice, yeah. Good. Here you are. How are you? Good to see you. I've been here. Nice to have you here. Thank you. You come probably more often here than me, right?
Yeah, they live across the street.
Right. I expand. I have 6 other restaurants to worry, so not all of them. So good to see you. Enjoy. Good to see you. Pleasure. Nice to see you. Thank you. Enjoy.
What dreams are there still to fulfill?
A lot of dreams left, but my dreams are to become known in 50 states of the United States, like in Manhattan right now, in New York State, which means I should open another, 200 restaurants perhaps, which I will, and that's my big dream, and the United States.
So you really believe in the American dream?
From the bottom of my heart, I do believe, and will happen.
Take care.
Take care now, huh?
This takes us to the characteristic that you can go to the top on merit alone. You don't have to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. This is what's interesting about Nieuw Amsterdam. You can go up the ladder. You're not limited to the bottom rung the rest of your life. New York is different from Boston because you can climb the ladder and you can reach the top, and you're not considered a newcomer or whatever. If you have the ability to make it to the top, you're respected. If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. That's the slogan that still rings true in New York.
Even from the
17th century, right.
Natuurlijk zijn er ook gelukzoekers aan de andere kant van het spectrum. Het is het grote leger illegale werknemers dat overleeft in de wereldstad die voor de middenklasse te duur is geworden. 1 op de 6 immigranten en de helft van alle afwashulpen in de New Yorkse restaurants zijn illegaal. Een status die in de oude kolonie niet eens bestond. Schoonmaken, babysitten, autowassen, grasmaaien, construction en demolition. Dat is het werk dat voorhanden is. En toch koesteren ook deze illegale immigranten hun eigen Amerikaanse droom. Een droom die in het huidige New York maar geen werkelijkheid wil worden. Midden in dit zeer welvarende deel van Long Island bekommert Ellen Ramirez, de dominee van een klein oud-Hollands kerkje, zich om het lot van de illegale dagloners.
And the prophets. Let us pray. May the power of your Spirit enter our hearts and our lives, that we may go out into the world and be the very essence of Christ, especially in those places where people are hurting, where people are alienated, where people are hungry, where they are without hope. Give us the power of your Spirit, that we may lead them to new life. This country has very few workers at the entry level. Quote unquote, real Americans don't want to clean up. They don't want to paint. They don't want to do construction. They don't want to do any kind of work that dirties their hands, because they're, in some ways, Americans think of themselves as being too good for this kind of work. So they fulfill those jobs. And that's what they're here for. Toma, hay unas camisetas para trabajar, para...
Very nice.
De nada. ¿Cómo has estado? ¿Ha habido trabajo?
Nada, no,
¿Nada?
no se consigue
Ajá.
nada.
¿De qué? ¿De pintor?
Sí, de todo.
Pero de nada. ¿Cuándo fue el último día que trabajaste?
Sí, trabajé hasta el 20 de diciembre, estuve mi patrón, pero no me ha vuelto a llamar más ya.
¿El 20 de diciembre?
Sí.
¿Cuánto tiempo es que no has visto a tu familia?
10 años. Es que mi mujer vive enferma ya, necesita medicina, todo y no.
My wife is
No hay-
sick,
no
she
hay- no
needs
hay-
medicine, she needs help.
Ya no hay trabajo para...
And there is no work over there either.
No.
Pase.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, yeah, pase buen día. Many days they will stand here until 11, 12 o'clock, middle of the day, and nothing has happened for them. So they've come with the hope that they will get a job. So they stand there and, you know, and they look, and they wait, and they wait, and wait. In this country, there has been a love-hate relationship with the immigrants. You see, the immigrant reminds us of who we were, because all of us can trace our roots back to immigrants. And now we see more immigrants coming. And psychologically, that part of us, that selfish part of us, looks at those immigrants and we think that they're going to take something from us, that the pie is now going to have to be divided in so many more pieces. And those who think in such narrow terms do not know what the American dream is about. Because the American dream is about limitless possibilities. It is about saying that nothing is impossible, that we can accomplish anything that we want to if we set our minds to it. Somebody who's offering them work, and you see how all of them are, are gathering around the truck. That means, they're competing against each other. One's saying, I'll give you, I'll work for 100, I'll work for 80, I'll work for, 70, until they themselves, say to each other, we can't bet against each other, against ourselves. ¿Cuánto les pagan por día?
Depende del patrón, ¿cuánto pague?
¿Cuánto?
Depende del patrón.
Sí, pero más o menos.
80, 100.
¿Y entonces qué pasa cuando no le pagan?
Pues nos quedamos.
What happens?
A comenzar otro día.
We have the opportunity to learn from this immigrant community. The very little money that they have left, at the end of the week, they will walk down to a Western Union store and they will wire transfer $200, $300 back to their spouses and their children. Spouses they have not seen for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Some men tell me, I haven't seen my child since he was 6 months old, and he's now 10. And all he has are pictures that he looks at, and perhaps a voice on the telephone. And he never gets to come home, and he never gets to embrace his wife. He never gets to see her, to talk to her, to have a meal with her. And yet he sends her that money, right? He sends her that money, and that, I will tell you, is commitment. That is something that you and I have lost. And we have lost it in the midst of becoming greedy. You know what? I am no longer going to simply think of me, but I am going to think of we. Because together we are stronger than when we stand alone.
Happy Easter. Good seeing you. Please sign our guest book.
You see, everybody takes a piece of these people. When he comes to do construction in my house, put up a new roof, he's being paid lower wages. I enjoy that, you see. I get a cheaper job done. So he is subsidizing me. He is subsidizing my greedy lifestyle. You see, and that's something that we don't want to confess. And to confront that problem is to confront our selfishness. And we don't want to do that because it would smack us in the face. We know the heart of a stranger because we were strangers in a strange land ourselves. We know what it feels like, but we don't want to go there. But as difficult as this is, I will see some of these guys in 5 years, and I'll come to the stoplight and I'll look, and there he will be in a car, in a little truck. And he'll have a little sign with his name, Monterosso Painting, or Monterosso Landscaping. I see it. And that's, you see, that's the dream.
Talk about freedom and justice and equality. Those things are not tangible, but change is tangible, and change is real.
Extra Obama condoms for hard times. Obama condoms. Buy some. Obama condoms.
Comedy show tickets. Stand-up comedy show. Hot comedy club. Hour and a half show, only $10.
Hier kon je als bakkersknecht in een half mensenleven een rijk koopman worden. Iets wat onwaarschijnlijk was in 17e-eeuws Europa. Als je maar hard wilde werken en vastbesloten was om geluk te hebben. Veel mensen die naar Amerika kwamen trokken weer weg uit New York. Naar andere delen van het land om daar hun droom waar te maken. En anderen bleven hier. Waarom? Omdat er meer kansen waren en zijn. Er is geen plek met zoveel geld en zoveel dynamiek als New York. En dat trekt een bepaald soort mensen aan. Mensen die denken, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere.